ready to answer seminar in management accounting examination today. Please read the instruction carefully and answer all the questions.
Alright, I think I've studied enough to answer all these questions.
Okay, you may start now.
Define supply chain management, managing supplier, and give two types of supply chain. Oh my god, lecturer Aimi have taught this in class. I'm not sure if I can remember this. Think then, you can remember this.
Okay student, today we will learn about a new topic which is supply chain management and managing supplier. Anyone have any idea what is supply chain management? No? It's okay. Let me tell you about what is supply chain. Supply chain is an entire system of producing and delivering product or service from the beginning stage of sourcing the raw materials to the final delivery of product or service to end user. In other words, the definition of supply chain management is management of key business processes that extend across the supply chain from original suppliers to the final customer. Meanwhile, for the definition of managing supplier is strategically planning and managing our interaction with third-party organizations that supply goods and services to an organization in order to maximize the value. Okay, now we will proceed to the two examples of supply chain, which is genuine supply chain and supply chain for e-commerce company. Here is the illustration of genuine supply chain. The genuine supply chain begins with the sourcing and extraction of raw materials. The raw materials are then taken by a logistic provider to a supplier which acts as the wholesaler. Through logistics, the materials are taken to a manufacturer or probably to various manufacturers that refine and process them into a finished product. Afterwards, it goes to a distributor that wholesales the finished product, which is next delivered to retailer. The retailer sells the product in a store to consumer. Once the consumer buys it, this completes the cycle, but it's the demand that then goes back and drives the production of more raw materials, and the cycle continues. The second example is supply chain for an e-commerce company. In this illustration, we took for an example the e-commerce company that operates a website which sells various products on it. When a customer places an order for a product, the product order is being processed by technology such as a checkout cart, an order system, or third-party products such as Shopify, Shopee, Lazada, and more. The payment processor then comes in and deals with the payment transaction for the order, which actually opens up a new supply chain. The payment processor uses their own system, but in most cases, third parties such as PayPal and online banking are employed, and they involve bank and other providers. When a product order is placed, the warehouse receives the order and ensures the product is ready for delivery. The warehousing company can be either in-house or third-party logistic provider. The order then goes from the warehouse to the shipping company. Once again, the shipping may be in-house or third-party shipping company. After shipping, the package arrives at the customer's door and the customer receives it. Finally, the customer's demand eventually goes back to the website and drives for the business. So, student, do you understand? If anyone has any question, please raise your hand, okay?
Okay, now I know the answer. That was easy. What's the next question? Explain 5 types of managing supply. Ooh, I remember this. Tina have taught me about this. Wait, let me try to remember. Hey Tina, can you explain to me about the 5 types of managing supply?
Surely, let me explain. Okay, for the 5 elements in managing supplier, which indicates first is the relationship with the supplier, second is the selecting supplier, third is analyzing supplier cost, fourth is calculating the total cost of ownership, and 5 is the evaluating supplier performance. For the first element is the relationship with the supplier. The collaborative relationship with supplier can help to minimize supplier and inventory which is related to the cost.
It is particularly important if the strategic focus is cost leadership and production lead time will be improved. Just imagine if you have a very good relationship with your supplier, it can be very beneficial for your organization. When you collaborate with your supplier and involve them in the process of deciding how to achieve the relevant requirements, you will build long-lasting or trust-based relation that can be leveraged in the future. Collaborating with supplier makes them more willing to understand your business need and consider strategy on organization terms. Second is selecting your supplier. Okay, selecting a supplier is a critical process within a business. It depends upon a number of factors such as reliability, reputation, cost, service, and further money. However, thinking strategically helps in choosing a right supplier for your business. Most of suitable suppliers are the ones that supply product or any service according to your business need and demand. Therefore, before choosing a supplier, it is important to clearly identify your business need and what you actually want to buy. For example, suppliers with a very high or low price are not always the best. It is important to find such supplier whose product or service correspond well to the price they demand. Therefore, it is important for the buyer to select the supplier that offer best value for the money. Next is analyzing supplier cost, which is cost of purchasing material, cost of holding inventory, cost of poor quality, and lastly, cost of delivery failure. Okay, analyzing supplier cost is a correlation in which a company judges a supplier based on their overall production value and efficiency. Businesses can also utilize a cost analysis that provide data on an item total cost to determine if its manufacturer price is sustainable. By using this element as a gauge, businesses can choose a new supplier or consolidate their existing supplier to prioritize those providing the best overall service. Running this analysis periodically ensure that the supplier is still meeting the company product fulfillment needs. Data collected from the analysis allow management to determine which manufacturer offer the best product, service, and cost that promote their bottom line. Okay, for the fourth is calculating the total cost of ownership. Basically, we use activity-based costing. This is because activity-based costing provide a more accurate method of product or service costing and lead to more accurate pricing decision. It increase understanding of overhead and cost derived, and also make costly and non-value adding activity more visible. Activity-based costing enable effective challenge of operating costs to find a better ways of allocating and eliminating overhead. It also enables improved product and customer profitability analysis. It supports performance management techniques such as continuous improvement and scorecard. Lastly is evaluating supplier performance. This is possibly one of the essential benefits of having supplier management. You need to know how your suppliers are performing because your organization performance is mostly depend on them. Not only will supplier performance management allow you to evaluate supplier compliance, but it will also give you in-depth insight on their performance. Supplier management includes the creation of various KPI in measure supplier performance, and using this you can assess the value created by the supplier.
Wow, this is very helpful. Now I understand better. Thank you, Tina.
You're most welcome, dear.
Okay, this is really easy. Now the next question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Oh my god, I don't remember this at all. I'm so sleepy as well. Let me take a quick 5-minute nap.
Hi Dane, are you having trouble trying to answer the examination questions? Don't worry Dane, I'm here for you. I'll always have your back. So now I will help you for the questions about the advantages and the disadvantages of supply chain management. So then the first one about the supply chain management advantages is that I can give you 4 advantages. So the first one is that you should know that it can reduce costs. So if you have better relationships, it will lead to less issues related to cost. So the next one is that it can increase the efficiency and communication. So why? Because the service will improve to be more efficient and issues can be handled much more effectively. The third advantage then is the outsourcing, because relationships with trusted suppliers enable the organizations to outsource non-critical activities. And last but not least, the fourth advantages for supply chain management is that it has continual improvement. It means that long-term relationships give you the opportunity to engage with suppliers of continual improvement of both products and services. Alright, next, I will explain you about the disadvantages. I can give you 3. So the first one is that it is inconsistent. So it creates serious inefficiencies that will impact at a higher cost. Next is that there is a misalignment. It means that it can damage your organization reputation with suppliers. So the third one is that you can fail to get a quality service. It means that the product and services requirements cannot be met with the buyer's needs. So Dean, it's time to wake up Dean, and you only have half an hour left to answer this examination. Well Dean, all the best. I hope you can answer all the questions. Time to wake up Dean, wake up.
Oh my god. Thank you so much Ayus. Now I know the answer. Okay, next. Explain 5 types of technology that enhance supply chain management. Wait, I did a presentation about this topic last week in class. Let me recall that back. Alright guys, now I'm going to continue with my online presentation. Now I'm going to tell you about the 5 technologies that is critical in enhancing the supply chain management. So the first one is e-commerce. E-commerce conduct business transaction using electronic media, such as the internet. Involves buying and selling goods and services over the internet. For example, in Malaysia, we have Shopee and Lazada. So next, we have the business to business. It pertains to transaction conducted between one business to another business, rather than an individual to a business. So next, the electronic data interchange. It uses the useful data that is transferred between the electronics, such as the mobile phone and computer. This is very critical, very useful, because it can enhance the whole engagement of supply chain management. So the first one is the business to consumer, which is the B2C. It is a commerce between a business and an individual consumer. It is very different from the business to business. So the whole engagement is through multi-channel retail strategies, such as physical store or online store. And the last one I'm going to tell you is the enterprise resource planning system, which is the ERP system. It is a package that supports information system that span different functional areas of an organization. Its functional areas are human resource, finance, inventory management, and supply chain management. This is truly a piece of cake. Okay, now we're going to continue with the next question, which is the 4 criteria supplier performance measure. If I'm not mistaken, Madam Syahmin have also teach this before. Let me try to remember.
Okay students, since Madam Aimi is not available today, I will continue where she left off last class. Alright, first I will explain to you about the 4 criteria supplier performance measure. There are 4 criteria supplier performance measure. For the first is delivery. For example, percentage of orders delivered on time. Average lead time for delivery. Supplier may be required to deliver an order with short time frame. Second criteria is quality. First example, percentage of orders rejected. Quality inspection may not be undertaken on deliveries, and financial penalties may be levied on the suppliers that deliver defected and inadequate material. Second example, achievement of quality certification. It is required the supplier to achieve certain quality accreditation. Third criteria is cost. First example, percentage of price reduction of material supplied. It is required supplier to make change on production methods and administrative system. Second example is manufacturing cost reduction target. Assist supplier to reduce manufacturing cost and set target. Last criteria is relationship. First example, supplier satisfaction survey. Number of disputes between supplier and organization must be resolved within 7 days. Measure may be developed assess the quality of relationship, and the second example of measure is number of days downtime due to industrial action. Industrial action can lead to late or no supply from the supplier. I hope all of you understand everything that I just told you all. Okay, let's move on the next topic.
Okay, this examination is way easier than I thought. Now for the last question. Explain on how it can be applied to the industry. If I'm not mistaken, Ayus also explained to me about this Pious Day. Let me try to recall it again.
Okay, then now I will try to explain to you regarding the application to the industry. So the first one is supplier identification. It means that you need to find quality suppliers to work with that will bring them the best value. So it starts with finding the right supplier to partner with and help the enterprise source better. Next is the supplier information management. So you need to have a detailed, accurate and centralized supplier information because it's foundational part of managing relationship with supplier. So next, you need to know about the supply risk management because globalization and the internet have made connecting with new of emerging markets and suppliers easier and faster, but they have also exposed enterprises to newer form of supply risk. And last but not least, for the application to the industry is that you need to know about supplier performance management, SPM, which means it allows procurement teams to rate and grade their suppliers along a series of performance metrics to ensure that the suppliers are providing value and adhering to contract terms and agreements. You can refer to this if you want to know about SPM. And that's it for application to the industry. Alright, so make sure you remember all of this, okay, because I am 100% sure that this will be asked in tomorrow's examination. Alright, so then good luck for tomorrow. Alright, so I'll see you later.
Oh my god, thank you so much, Ayus. I would have not been able to answer this if you didn't teach me yesterday. I think that's everything. Excuse me, I finished. Can I go now?
You may go. Please leave your answer paper on the table.
Okay, thank you very much.
Example, achievement of quality certification. It is required to